Katsudon, everybody! So, winter is coming to Japan, and what better way to warm yourself up by eating deep fried or shallow fried pork cutlets. And in this case, we're going to be making a pork cutlet bowl called Katsudon. Now, the pork cutlet in itself in Japanese is called Tonkatsu. So tonkatsu is usually eaten before exams or big tests by Japanese people because it's called tonkatsu, and katsu also means winning in Japanese, so now you know why. So what better way to warm yourself up than by eating an extremely calorie heavy meal. So without further ado, let's end this intro and let's make some katsudon. First, by making tonkatsu. Let's go! So of course, to make tonkatsu you're going to need some pork cutlets, like these ones. Put down a little bit of plastic foil, and then I salt and pepper that. Put your cutlets down on the plastic, and it's time to score them. Now we need to score them so they don't kind of move. After scoring, salt and pepper on the other side, and then go full Dexter and put the plastic wrap on top again. Now you should beat them down until they're about 1.5 centimeters thick. That way it will be easier to cook them evenly when we're going to shallow fry them later. After flattening your cutlets, it's time to flour them. Whatever vessel you choose, throw on some flour. Then lay down your flattened and nice pork cutlets on it. Sprinkle some flour on top, and it's time to make sure that every nook and cranny of the cutlets are covered in the flour. Especially where we scored, try to shove some flour in there as well. For the egg wash, you're gonna need 1 egg. Crack it open, whisk it up, and set it aside. And of course there is no tonkatsu without panko breadcrumbs. Now this is raw, like it says, nama, raw panko breadcrumbs. It means that they're not dried. They're kind of like shredded fresh bread. If you don't have access to this, you can actually soak your dried panko for a little while in a little bit of water. Just sprinkle on a little bit of water, mix it, and then set it aside for 15 minutes, and you will have nama panko. Now we have your breading station ready. So this is how you bread stuff. This works for like schnitzels or like nuggets or anything you need to bread and fry, fish and chips. Take the floured pork cutlet, dredge it in the egg wash. After you have dredged the cutlet in the egg wash, it's time to put it in the panko. Make sure that the panko sticks to all nooks and crannies on the cutlet. Repeat this process until you run out of cutlets. Then it's frying time! Now I don't really enjoy deep frying, and also I don't have a tempura pot, which I definitely should buy. So I decided to shallow fry. So to shallow fry your tonkatsu, you need to put a little bit more oil than you're comfortable with in a frying pan. Then to check if it's in temperature, drop in a few pieces of panko. If it starts to sizzle, you're all good. Put in the cutlets one by one, away from you. If you put it towards you, you can splash hot oil on yourself, and it really hurts. So shallow fry them for about 5 minutes. Then use your chopsticks or spatula or whatever you're using to kind of lift the cutlet up and see if it's golden brown beneath. If it is, it's time to flip. If you want it extra crispy and a little browned, you can flip them again and again and fry them for a few minutes on each side again. After you're done frying, put them on a rack with a paper towel beneath so you can drain out the excess oil. You don't want to eat that, it's going to clog up your system. And congratulations, you just made your first shallow fry tonkatsu. Proud of ya! Now it's time to make the donburi, the katsudon, which starts with onion. Just chop it up in big chunks and throw it in a pan with some oil. After the onion has fried a bit, squirt in some mirin and pour in a little splash of soy sauce. Then slowly pour in your dashi. If you want to know how to make dashi, look in the top right corner. That's my recipe on how to make homemade dashi. Also, while you're at it, subscribe. Thanks. Now let everything simmer in the pan until your onions are translucent and until you've reduced everything by half. Take your now cooled down and crispy and delicious pork cutlets, put them on a cutting board, and I've been told by many people, Japanese and foreigners here, that when you cut up your pork cutlet, you should do 2 cuts to cut it in 3 equally sized big pieces before chopping them into smaller strips. You do this because you don't want the panko coating to kind of like splinter and fall off. After chopping up your pork cutlets, put them slowly from your knife on top of the dashi mirin soy onion mixture. I'm making 2 portions at the same time, so I put in 2 cutlets. Crack open 2 eggs into a bowl, whisk them up, and slowly pour it over in your frying pan. Oh yeah! Then put on a lid and wait for 1 minute if you want the eggs to be runny, 2 minutes if you want them medium, like scrambled eggs, 3 minutes to have kind of like a katsudon omelette. I don't recommend that, 1 minute is fine, and that's what I did here. And since I like it kind of raw after 1 minute, it's kind of difficult to make it look nice. But anyways, let's put it on top of the rice. Now what I like to do, I put 2 cutlets in with the dashi mirin soy sauce mix, along with the eggs. And then I saved the last cutlet, so I chopped up the last cutlet and put half and half on top. So you get kind of a extra crispy and then a little bit crispy underneath. And that's it, you just made katsudon with homemade tonkatsu. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, just click the little circle here and then hit subscribe. Or you can do it underneath here. It's a subscribe red button. And you can watch one of my recommended videos down here. Technology is awesome. Emiru Auto.